AlJazeera, we're tracking the developments in Libya and the fallout from them, including the turmoil and the price of oil. But who is standing to benefit from soaring prices? Plus, AlJazeera has managed to secretly film the mines of Myanmar, where locals are paying the price in the hunt for precious stones.
As the clouds roll in across the Mediterranean, you'll still find it easy to drift away.
Welcome back to International Weather Forecast. Well, across the Indian subcontinent, not a lot to talk about in the way of clouds or rain. What we are seeing, though, are those high temperatures coming into play as we go from Thursday as well as into the weekend. We are looking at Nagpur, about 38 degrees, Kolkata, about 35 degrees for them. Chennai is also 37, so we are getting into those mid-30s. This is right before monsoon season begins in just the next couple months. So dry conditions, but very warm conditions indeed. As we take our way down to south parts of Africa, well, we are looking at an area of low pressure in the Mozambique Channel. Now, this one right here could potentially be a cyclone. We don't expect it to be anything major, but the major heavy rain is going to be coming out of this, affecting parts of Mozambique as well as Madagascar. So we're going to be seeing some flooding along with this area of low pressure. Also, some nice conditions down to the south. Temperatures have come up for Johannesburg, about 31 degrees, and Durban looking about 30. Well, across the Arabian Peninsula, temperatures are also coming up. We are looking at Doha, seeing temperatures of about 30 degrees, but just look up towards the north. You see this area of rain right here. This could possibly be affecting Doha as we get into the weekend. Maybe a little light showers there, but also some heavier showers up here towards Kuwait, as well as into parts of Iran. Over here towards Abu Dhabi, about 32, Muscat, 29.
Qatar Airways, world's 5-star airline.
On the next Riz Khan Show, is there rising Islamophobia in the US? We examine controversial hearings in Congress about the so-called radicalization of American Muslims.
Riz Khan at this time on Al Jazeera.
احنا الجزيرة الإنجليزية عم نسأل الناس ليش جايين اليوم.
Wherever the news, whatever the story. Al Jazeera.
Hello again, a recap of our top story. Battles have been raging across Libya once again. In Zawiya, doctors say at least 40 people have been killed. State television says government forces have forced the rebels out of the city centre, a claim that the rebels deny. Meanwhile, Gaddafi's forces have carried out fresh airstrikes against the rebels in the eastern town of Ras Lanuf. Dozens of people are reported to have been killed. 2 oil installations have been hit. And despite the chaos, Libya's deputy foreign minister has told Al Jazeera Gaddafi is in charge of more than 90% of Libyan territory. Khalid Qaim's comments come as Western leaders meet to find a solution to the problems. Well, one of the other effects of the violence in Libya is a continuing rise in the price of oil as concerns grow over production levels. Brent crude reached $116 a barrel. U.S. light crude was at $105 a barrel overnight. And Libya's top oil official has announced that output is now down to about 500,000 barrels a day. This from more than 1.5 million before this all began. Shokri Ghanem has added that many foreign and local workers have now left the oil field. But there are some countries that may well benefit from the inflation in the price of oil, and one of them is Russia. Neve Barker reports from Moscow.
Oil markets are nervous places at the moment, and Russia is no exception. The race is on to find regions promising a reliable supply. In Europe, the price of Brent North Sea crude oil spiked at $119 a day at the end of last month. While in recent days, US light sweet crude peaked at almost $105 a barrel, the highest in 2.5 years. Though Saudi Arabia has promised to make up for any shortages, that hasn't cut prices much. Now Russia has offered a cheaper alternative. Shares at Russian energy firms Gazprom, Rosneft and Lukoil have traded at a 40% discount for major Western oil companies like Exxon, Chevron and ConocoPhillips.
It seems that investors are really thinking that, first of all, this is a significant move in the oil price, not just a one-day spike. The higher prices go up, the higher oil price go up, then the more profits Russian companies will be making.
The Russian government has said that if the price of oil remains at $100 a barrel, then Russia will be able to balance its budget within 3 years. Well, if the price of oil remains as it has been, consistently high, then Russia can look forward to achieving these goals much, much sooner, all while many Western powers struggle with substantial national debts. But if oil problems turn into a crisis, some are predicting prices of more than $200 a barrel. And that could lead to a collapse in demand everywhere. Prime Minister Vladimir Putin has already warned that rocketing oil prices pose a serious threat to the world. In Russia, energy companies generate around a third of the nation's wealth. If prices do spiral, even here, any short-term gains could end in long-term woes. Neve Barker, AlJazeera, Moscow.
Now, Thursday sees the opening of what Myanmar is touting as one of its biggest ever sales of precious gems, where the government will flaunt its ruby industry. What it won't be showing off is the virtual slave conditions that exist in the business, where workers as young as 4 are exploited to generate the billions of dollars that prop up the country's ruling junta. Well, despite strict controls on the presence of foreigners, AlJazeera has managed to get access to some of these mines in the Mogok region.
They are as young as 4 years old, cracking rocks in government-controlled mines, searching for one of the world's most precious jewels, the blood-red ruby. And this is how it all gets started. In the dark of night, dozens of miners take over property belonging to local farmers. They dig, hunting for the valuable gem. Armed men keep watch, leaving the rightful owners helpless to stop them.
We have been here the whole night trying to defend the land, but we can't control them. We won't get any compensation, and the police encourage this.
Supervising the operation is the local police chief and his army counterpart. Once rubies are found, the land is officially claimed by the state. We filmed the operation secretly, as foreigners are forbidden from visiting the area. The entire region of Mogok is off limits to outsiders. Its mines provide 90% of the world's ruby supply, and the government wields complete control. Locals who used to own property here often end up as virtual slaves to the ruby trade. It is hard, back-breaking work, and guards ensure the gems they do find are handed over. This man, a supervisor, tells us people here are given less than $1.50 a day for their efforts. We visit several mines, and in each are the elderly and more children. $216 US. And
ruby, yellow gold.
Where's the ruby from? Mogok?
Mogok ruby, natural stone.
Natural stone. Here is where much of the jewels end up. Government-run emporiums in